Welcome, witches. Welcome to another episode of the Still Rooms Grimoire. I'm your host, April Eckwylan, and it's been a little bit, almost a month. Well, needed a little bit of a break, a little bit of a settle down, just lots going on. But I am coming to talk to you all about some gateway stuff, some interesting transformation stuff that you can work on this weekend. So let's backtrack a little bit. So I'm actually coming to you from the shop, and this is going to be our first episode that we are posting on our YouTube channel. So you can catch this over on YouTube, or you can listen to it on wherever you get your podcasts. So let's go back a little bit in the week. So we had a full moon in Scorpio, my sign, which hit rather hard for me. A lot of stuff to do with that, a lot of energy dealing with that. That was on Monday. We are in Pluto retrograde. So there is all of that with, transformation and, healing and working on things. And now we're coming to this gateway. And this gateway that is coming up this weekend, it starts the 16th, goes from the 16th until the 18th, is the Algol Gateway. And the Algol star, it's a fixed star, and it's in the constellation Perseus. And it's known, people have called it throughout the years the demon star. It is known for its intense, transformational, and sometimes pretty feared energy. And the reason why is because it actually has to do with Medusa. Some people call it the Medusa star. It's a binary star system that dims and brightens about every like two-ish days. So it eclipses. And so a lot of people, back in the day that were studying the stars, noticed that it would dim and brighten and dim and brighten. So they kind of got freaked out about it. And that's kind of how it got its name, this demon star. It's positioned about 26 degrees Taurus. Give or take. And you can actually find out where this star is in your natal chart. If you go to astro.com, there's a section there that you can put in like different asteroids and different stars. And you just look it up and you have it added. And you'll see where it is, and then you can see what house it's in, maybe what you need to work on, and so on. But we'll get to that. So in astrology, in modern astrology, um, actually, let me go back. Historically, it's been noted as a malefic star. It's been associated with chaos, violence, and if you think about Medusa, decapitation. I mean, her head was chopped off, so she could be used as a weapon. But it's also been a star that is just associated with just raw feminine power and fierce protection, and that is what we're going to be tapping into. So with modern astrology, it is seen as this portal for transformation and reclaiming that power, especially with people or feelings of being suppressed or maybe feelings of being demonized. It is recalling back that power, that divine feminine. So why is it associated with Medusa? Well, Medusa's myths, really intersect with Algol. And, Medusa was punished for her beauty and strength, and she was turned into this monster. Perseus beheaded her, and it's kind of like that is kind of its own symbolism of masculine domination. I mean, think about what's going on in the world today, over feminine power and what was known as like feminine chaos just because we were asserting our power. And so by reclaiming Medusa as a symbol of this fierce and sacred feminine energy, that rage can turn to righteousness. So with this gateway and shadow work and such, we have to kind of face parts of ourselves that maybe we've been ashamed of, we've suppressed, or maybe we have even demonized. And we kind of have to confront that fear, that trauma, that taboo, and transmute them into our power. So, this whole gateway is dealing with all of that, confronting all of that, and transmuting it into our power. So, what what is this gateway? So it's basically this reclaiming our power, our divine feminine, that feminine power, and our intuitive power as well. It is facing and integrating shadow and just dealing with the shit that we've suppressed and put down and basically have been like, I'm just not going to deal with this because of dot, dot, dot. It is facing that, integrating our shadow into us because we are not all light. We have a shadow and we have to find that balance in between that. And it is activating this inner guardianship, this psychic awareness, and maybe tapping into a little bit of our ancestral healing. Because if we've had issues in the past that our ancestors went through and that we just keep having to kind of bring up, we have to heal that. So, how can we connect to this gateway? Well, obviously, we want to time like our rituals and our workings with this Algol star. So, kind of look it up, look on astrological charts, current charts, your birth chart, look at timing on when we can work with it basically between the 16th and the 18th of this month. And you can also, use different astrology sites to find out any transits for it. A lot of times you can find that out, for free using different accounts and different apps and such. Some ritual suggestions are tapping into that Medusa energy. Working with, if you want to work with candles, maybe a black or a dark green candle. Using snake imagery, mirrors, reciting affirmations, reclaiming your strength and your protection, whatever it is that you want to say and do and use. Think of a snake. Snakes shed their skin, they transform. In order to grow, snakes need to shed their skin, or else what happens? They die. So we need to maybe work with that and come up with your own affirmations and reclamations of how you can work with that energy. Look at a mirror. So, think about the myth of Medusa. If people looked at her, they turn to stone, right? Well, we need to face our reflection. We need to face that and we need to stare it straight in our eyes and maybe do like a mirror itch ritual, gazing into a mirror, breathing deeply, facing our fears, saying out loud things that we've maybe hidden or repressed that we want to bring to the surface, that we want to heal, that we want to deal with so we can call back our power. And then use that and call it back while we are gazing at ourselves, just, it's hard sometimes looking at ourselves in the mirror. But when we are forced to do this, we can reclaim that power. You can do some journaling, some shadow work. What parts of me have been called too much or too intense? I'm sure we've all been called that, especially as, women. Um, we've been called too much. Oh, you're being too much. You're reading too much into this. You're being too intense. Why are you doing that? It goes through history that we have been, as women, we have been seen as too much. And when our too muchness, gets to be what, quote unquote, a bother, what do they try to do? They try to shut us up. We're not going to let that happen. Um, Another, journal prompt you can do is what scares me about my own power? What anxieties, what fears, what scares me over my own power? Where am I ready to rise from shame into sovereignty? Think about those things and maybe come up with maybe some of your own other journal prompts with what you are transforming. What is it that you want to transform? What is keeping me from transforming? Some tools and some crystals that maybe you can use: obsidian, black tourmaline, bloodstone, smoky quartz. Bloodstone is really good for courage, especially if you are needing some of that courage to kind of help with this transformation. It also can help for grounding, protection, and shadow work. All of those crystals can. Bring in some snake imagery, some Gorgon symbols, or maybe like the head of Medusa as a talisman. I just purchased a medallion that is the head of Medusa that I am going to be using in my working. Some affirmations that you can use: I reclaim my power from the shadows. My rage is sacred. My voice is fierce. My presence is protected. Remember, as we're changing, as we are transforming, and we are calling back our power, we have to realize that the rage that we have inside, our voice that we are fierce, we are sacred. All of that is sacred, and we are going to use it to help us transform. That is where we're going to pull our strength from. So, realizing that your rage is sacred, your voice is fierce, and your presence, your place here is protective, divinely protected. And then another one can be I face the darkness and emerge transformed. Realizing that we are facing our shadows and we are coming out of this transformed. So, other things that you can do, maybe do a little bit of divination. Pull some cards if you work with tarot or oracle cards. Pull some cards and get some messages. Tap into Medusa. Tap into that energy, tap into your ancestors, to your deities, whatever it is that you can draw strength from, and ask them, what is it that I can do? How can I bring forth this fierceness? How can I bring forth this transformation? Ask them. Ask them for messages. So, kind of, how do we integrate this? How do we, what do we expect after, working with this energy? You're probably going to go through some emotional purges, some revelations, some increased intuition. Maybe we'll start getting some messages that we see and we need to make sure that we are paying attention to. We might have some confrontations with our fears, with maybe some repressed memories, maybe some ancestral patterns, but we have to be able to deal with them and work through them, and having the courage and the strength to do that and know that you are divinely protected and that you can work through this, because it's not just going to stop after these, couple of days. We're going to have to continue to do this and move through it. So those are some things that you might need to, plan on working with. Um, you know, Look at the Algol star as an ally, and instead of this demon star, think of it as a guardian of your truth, of your power, of your voice, of your fierceness. And kind of remember and maybe keep this in the back of your head, maybe as a mantra or whatnot, but whatever you face, you free. So listen to that again. Whatever you face, you free. So it's all part of this transformation process. And, kind of keeping in mind that, this Algol star and this gateway is not about fear. It is about our fierce truth, our transformation, and tapping into our authentic selves and using our voice to set that free. It's an invitation to honor all of the parts of ourselves, even the ones that we've hidden, even the ones that we've just really suppressed and put down there and have been like, nope, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And when we tap into it, we use this consciously, it can be one of our most potent spiritual allies that we can tap into whenever we need it, whenever we feel like we are not being heard, when we are being suppressed, when we are scared to do something. We can tap into this star, call upon it, and tap into that ally to help us with our journey, with our transformation. And if you're using like any tools or whatnot for this, whether it's a talisman, a piece of jewelry, a crystal, or whatnot, keep that with you. Keep it as your talisman. Work with it. Wear it with you, carry it with you, have it on your altar, whatever it is that you want to do, so you can tap into that energy whenever you need to call upon it. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and some information about this gateway coming up. It's starting tomorrow, Friday, and goes until the 18th. Read up on it some more. There are a lot of great articles. I will link them in the show notes about where you can go to get some more information about this gateway, because I've only just touched on it. But maybe think about what it is that you want to do. Think about what you want to transform, how you want to use this gateway to tap into that sacredness, maybe that shadow side that we've suppressed because we've been told for so long it's wrong. But no, we want to tap into that and awaken that, transform that, and use it as our power. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you can maybe share maybe some things that you have done. So, since we're working with this gateway and such, I'm not going to put a card of the week to kind of focus on, because I want to focus on this. Maybe focus on tapping into that Medusa energy, tapping into that rage, tapping into that fierceness, and that protection of ourselves and who we actually are. So focus on that this week. Okay. I know it's a lot. And this gateway can bring up a lot. So be gentle with yourselves. Take time to ground, take time to decompress. You don't have to do this all in one session. This might take several times before you completely feel like, I'm here. I've arrived. This transformation is taking place. But be gentle with yourself. Okay. All right. So, other things, hop on to our Facebook coven, Awaken the Witch. If you are not on there, definitely hop on there. It is a very safe space to be. You can ask questions about this gateway. You can share your experiences. It is definitely a safe space for you to be. Also, don't forget to follow the shop on all of our socials. We are on, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. We are on Blue Sky, although I don't really go on there much. I have to kind of really, I haven't really focused on that much. But we also have our Patreon. So if you have not checked out our Patreon, definitely go and check it out. I will link it in the show notes. Definitely go and check it out. There are so many awesome just offerings on there. We have our own Discord that is associated with some tiers. We have one tier that is strictly just a calendar. It is a monthly calendar that you have access to that will give you workings step by step on everything that you need for specific moon phases, specific Sabbats, if there is one, astrological events like the Algol Gateway. There is a spell in there for that. So you can still get that by signing up. But there are so many different tiers and so many just awesome things that you can get from the Patreon that you can't get anywhere else. One-on-ones with me, a little bit of mentorship, readings, a monthly ritual that we all do together online. So there's a lot of good offerings there. So definitely head over to our Patreon and check it out. So I wish you all the best with this gateway, and I look forward to seeing how everybody transforms. And I'll keep people up to date on what I'm doing with this gateway. So, thank you all for joining me this week. This has been a production of The Still Room, music by Breakmaster Cylinder, and thank you so much. Take care, witches. Blessed be.